Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Leftist Losers Show, where we point out all of the losers of the left. And today I got a clip of the Young Turks for you guys, where Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are melting down a little bit over the fact that they're stuck between a rock and a hard place with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is probably the worst presidential candidate we've ever had or ever seen, and that's crazy considering we just, elected Joe Biden as president, and he is absolutely awful. His record is absolutely terrible. The country is burning down around us along with the rest of the world, and Joe Biden's directly responsible for that. And even crazier is Kamala Harris is also directly responsible for that. But the sad thing for her is she can't point to her mental degradation like Joe Biden can and use that as an excuse for why everything is imploding, essentially, with regards to the economy and conflicts around the world. Everything is just in a terrible state, and somehow with that record and with her still being in power, she's gonna pursue the presidency again, apparently. And it's funny to watch them squirm, and they're frustrated, and they know it, and they don't have a lot of ammunition to defend her with. So anytime somebody on the right or a Republican attacks her in a personal manner or uses insults that are, quote unquote sexist or misogynist, the Young Turks and people on their side of the aisle latch onto it because that's pretty much all they have. And, it's sad because it is kind of giving them an avenue of attack or defense for her. But the reality is she really doesn't have a good record. And her history and her come up into the political scene is laid with brown nosing. And, well, she is, like the Fox News host said, the original Haktua girl. She didn't get into politics by success or by accomplishment. She got into it by making friends, quote unquote. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this clip from the Young Turks, where they are absolutely frustrated with people attacking Kamala Harris for her DEI hire status, and it's pretty funny. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
A regular on Fox Business, Alec Lace, made that lewd comment about presumptive Democratic nominee Kamala Harris, essentially referring to her as the original Haktua girl. Now, for those of you who haven't been following that meme and don't know what it's about, it kind of started after this interview went viral. Take a look.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Haktua and spit on that thing. You get me?
Okay, so obviously he was making a reference to oral sex or Kamala Harris engaging in oral sex, even though he got some pushback from his co-host on the show, Dagan McDowell, for being too harsh. He decided, I'm gonna go ahead and double down on Twitter, writing, did I go too far on Fox News calling Kamala Harris the OG Haktua girl, or am I right over the target? Now, similarly, by the way, last week, or this week I should say, Alex Jones had his own commentary about Kamala Harris. I mean, it's interesting because I do think that if you look at her record, there are areas where they could target her on substance, but they seem to be unable to do that, and instead they're leaning into this kind of garbage.
Oh, we'll just have some type of event in Chicago in a few weeks, and we'll just choose who it's gonna be. Though they're saying it's Kamala, and the Clintons and others have saluted her, Obama hasn't. And so that tells you that the fighting's still going on. And Hillary wouldn't have all these hundreds, I couldn't even keep track of them, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, about she had the popular vote and she's the smartest and she deserves it. So don't think they won't try to push Kamala out and put her in, or have Kamala, who's dumber than a box of rocks. She's basically a fleshlight. Put Hillary on as her VP, and boy, if she does that, she's gonna get JFK'd very, very fast.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge, to be fair,
to skip that little,
all of the data from his cell phone to the lawyer representing the Sandy Hook families. I mean, it's just, okay, you want to call her dumb? Fine. I mean, maybe look in the mirror for a second.
And accidentally showed the trans porn that he was watching on his phone to his audience. Oops.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair to him, he says everybody does that. Okay.
Do they?
Do they? Interesting. So, look, this kind of sexist attack against Kamala Harris is guaranteed to backfire. So there goes all the gains that you had started to make with women, and the only reason they were making those gains, guys. So in the minority communities, it's a little bit different, right? So for Latinos, I think Democrats took them for granted all these years, never really delivered much, just have the wrong messaging. Latinos mainly care about all the things that everybody else cares about: employment, jobs, wages, healthcare, etc. So I think Democrats have the wrong strategy. But on gender, the only reason why the Republicans are picking up a little bit of steam is because Joe Biden was 281 years old, and everybody was just going, I guess I can't vote for that guy. He can't walk or talk, right? So I think that was a mirage. But now, normally you have a female candidate, you're just naturally going to pick up some more women voters anyway. Plus, it reemphasizes abortion rights, reproductive rights, which is a huge advantage for Democrats. But now that you have a woman candidate, the number one advantage has become that Republicans, both in media and politics, can't help themselves. So they just keep saying the most sexist, misogynistic things over and over and over again. And what that's doing is it's reemphasizing to all the women in the country, they don't like you. And so they always think of you in sexual terms, never in business terms, never in professional terms, never in a respectful way. And you see it so overwhelmingly from the right wing that they're just going to give the election to the Democrats if they keep this up.
Right.
I hate to admit it, but Cenk does have a point, and I don't disagree. It is really frustrating. This goes along with the weird thing, right, where the Democrats like AOC are calling JD Vance weird. And instead of Republicans turning around and going, no, what's weird is instead of talking about policy and focusing on problems in the country and this horrible track record that you guys have since you've been in power, maybe we shouldn't vote for you again. It's really sad that you're focused on calling me weird instead of these issues, right? Like Republicans could say something like that, but instead, the Republicans just go, no, I'm not weird. I'm not weird. And that's the frustrating thing about the Republicans is they just like, I want to see populist Republicans like the Freedom Caucus get into power. I want to see people like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, these guys that say they're going to go in there and clean up all this corruption and garbage. I want to see them get into power. And it's going to take people who are focused and can realize what's going on to do that. But they do let the Democrats like run the narrative. And the sad reality is a lot of women, just based on the nature of femininity and the way women are, they vote based on their feelings and how they feel about people. And so, yes, it really does give the Democrats ammunition to defend Kamala Harris when the Republicans attack her for being a DEI hire and the fact that she did kind of sleep her way to the top, which again it's not false. Like, it's super frustrating to know that this lady didn't get to where she is because she's, awesome and on top of her game. She got there because she had the right connections, made those connections very happy in, quote unquote ways. And they gave her things, including positions of power. And she used those positions of power to do that even more. And it's not really like surprising. Like, we all can see it clearly. That's why she makes terrible decisions. That's why she picked Tim Walz as her running mate. It was a terrible political decision. She should have picked Shapiro, but she can't because he's Jewish, and the Democratic Party doesn't like Jewish people. Obviously, they've made that pretty clear. So it's frustrating. We all want to point it out because it's blatantly obvious that it's the case, but the reality is there are a lot of really dumb people in the country who vote based on their feelings and don't pay attention and don't care. And if somebody makes them feel bad, they're gonna vote based on that. That's the sad reality of our political situation. And the Young Turks aren't wrong for calling that out. Even though it is frustrating, it's very frustrating, right? That we can't just call out the obvious and the reality of things, but it is what it is. So let's continue on.
So what it messages to people overall is that you're never going to appreciate someone who's a woman who's accomplished anything in her life. You're always going to see her as one thing and one thing only, and that's just a sexualized being, and that's again not going to be appealing. But people have moved on from that kind of mindset. The other thing I want to just quickly touch on is
no, people haven't moved on from that. If she did in fact sleep her way to the top with Mayor Willie Brown. Mayor Willie Brown basically kickstarted Kamala's climb to the top because he was dating her or sleeping with her at the very least. People see that. It's obvious. It's not surprising, especially when she gets up in front of crowds and speaks, and it becomes very clear that she is not one of the elites based on her attributes at all. She should not be in that position. She definitely didn't get there through skill or merit or IQ. We'll just put it that way, right? Like nobody looks at her and goes, wow, inspiration. She is just so capable. No, she's worse than Joe Biden is. And that's insane because Joe Biden's a demented old man at this point, and she's still worse than him. Her approval numbers were worse than Joe Biden's the entire time she was his VP before she became the supposed candidate for the Democratic Party, right? And so they're going to try to defend her. They are going to use this as ammunition, but the reality is, like, she is not going to be a good president. And the sad thing for women is, if this works, like this defense of her works by calling the Republicans sexist for them attacking her for the reality of her situation, they're going to be really disappointed when she gets into office and burns the country down even worse than it is now. And especially now that she picks someone like Tim Walz, it's not going to get better. Like, she didn't pick somebody who would be a stabilizing force or a moderate. She picked an even farther left personality who practically destroyed Minnesota under the BLM riots. Like, it's only going to get worse if she wins. And, you know, women, I feel bad for you that if you vote her in as the first female president, that's going to be the representation for women. Somebody who slept their way to where they are. You want that to be your first one? You want that to represent your legacy as a gender? I know I wouldn't. And I think women should stand up and call her out as well. Like, stop getting stuck in your feelings and look at the reality of the situation and go, you know what? If we're going to have the first female president to get up there and we want to focus on it being a historical event, even though it really shouldn't matter, then maybe we should send somebody who's actually capable and would do a good job. But you know what? The Democrats, they're gonna play on the sexist, misogynist thing. They're gonna attack Republicans for pointing it out. And you know what? That's fair. It's politics. That's fair. Republicans should stop. Again, my message to Republicans, because I want them to do better, stop focusing on the stupid, petty stuff like this. You have the golden opportunity to destroy them on policy and record. Look at the last 4 years. It's been nothing but a disaster in every single way. And every time they call you weird, stop saying, no, you're weird, because all it does is make you look childish and stupid. And people are going to go, why would we vote you in if you can't even respond in an articulate way? All you have to say is, oh, I'm weird. Okay, who cares? People can't afford to eat. Why are you worried about calling me weird when you can't get them anything they need and you can't provide a stable economy that's going to allow them to afford food? Really, you're worried about me being weird? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to do this, and this to fix the economy, and we're going to get rid of you guys because all you care about is calling me weird. They're doing that because they know Republicans will take the bait, and it's so frustrating to see. It's so frustrating to see. It needs to stop. Anyways, guys, that's all. I'm going to cut it short here. They really just kind of ramble on about how Republicans are sexist for like the next 10 minutes. So if you want to watch it, go over to the Young Turks, and I'll put the link down in the description below for the original video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think, or if you hated my take on this, that's fine. Tear me apart in the comments. I just appreciate the engagement, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.